All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Keyboard Warriors presented by Crosswinds MMA. My name is Eddie Law. I am your host. With me tonight, as always, the fellas from Stand and Bang Radio, Aaron Robbins, and also from Gem City Fighting, Fred Kirby. Obviously, we gotta say, Aaron looks so much clearer tonight. He's got new technology. The dude's moving up in the world. We can see you super clear, man. Like, explain to the people what you have to do to get this computer.
Okay, I was either running off of a computer that was like 5 or 6 years old and would barely allow me to do the show, and then last week I actually ganked my son's Chromebook, much to his dismay, so I could do the show. So today I dropped about $400, picked up a new HP, so now Stand and Bang will be processed on a new show. The intellectual musings of idiots will be processed on a new computer. No, Stand and Bang on a new computer, idiots on a new computer, and now unfortunately you guys can see me way too well. And Fred, thank you for pointing out how pasty I am. Pretty sure that's a lighting issue. I don't think I'm really this white, but I might be. I might actually be this white.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't checked out that Musings episode show, they've only done one so far, but it's great. It really is a good listen. Especially if you ever wondered about the background of these two guys and our buddy Andrew Reed. So definitely check out that episode. All right, so let's get into it, fellas. Let's talk I guess the big news of the day. Cerrone coming out saying that he's been fired by the UFC for criticizing the Reebok deal. UFC going out and firing anyone that talks shit. In fact, they didn't fire Brendan Schaub. They haven't cut him yet, but he's been speaking out against Reebok, and they pulled down his kit off the website. You can't buy it anymore, which I don't know why you'd want to. But, Fred, what do you think about this? Stitch is probably, in fact, I think everyone would agree he's the best cut man in the game.
You guys go first. Aaron, go. I want to hear what you got to say about this first. I'll go last.
Well, I mean, honestly, Dana White has come out and said it time and time again that when he got with Stitch and the other professional cut men from boxing, that was one of the ways that he was going to legitimize the UFC. These are definitely bloody fights. You can't have inexperienced cut men. You can't have guys who are cutting their teeth. Especially in some, okay, most recent fight that comes to mind, what would have happened if Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald didn't have top-tier cutmen like Rob Monroe and Stitch? That fight would have never made it to the end. It wouldn't have made it to the 5th round, guaranteed. And now what's going to happen when we have guys who are panicking in there who aren't as good? This was terrible. Like, okay, as far as the fighters, they are contracted by the UFC. Cutmen are independent contractors. Okay, these guys chose to come over to the UFC and enhance our sport, and they should have been exempt from this Reebok deal. If you want to have Bad Boy, if you want to have whatever you want to have on your vest, that's on you, man. These guys got to make a living, and let me tell you what, it's a lot different over in boxing. Boxing, it's on the boxer. They hire the cut man they want. They pay them directly. Over in the UFC, cut men are paid on sponsorships. And so as soon as you saw that vest went away, that Bad Boy vest, the iconic look of the UFC cut men, that means those guys started making dick. Do you know what I mean? These are the guys that are letting us watch these fights. Diego Sanchez fights would not go on the way that they do. Nick Diaz fights would not go on the way that they do. These guys cut easy, they cut often, and you have got to have top-tier cut men to stop that bleeding and to keep the fight going. I think this is one of the biggest fucking faux pas the UFC has ever made. I'm actually pissed off about the entire situation. And I'll tell you what, if they keep fucking around with all this corporate garbage and changing everything because of Reebok, I'm starting to become anti-UFC. I like it because, just like Fred said, man, they're all under one umbrella. But stop fucking with a good thing. The momentum has been going for how many years for the UFC, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden they just fucking throw a wrench in the gears. I simply just cannot wrap my mind around this fucking Reebok deal. And for $70 million, that's a fucking drop in the bucket. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. How in the fuck do you change everything for one company and a cut rate company at that? Do you guys give a fuck about the Reebok pump? No. Nobody does. Give me a pair of Nikes. Matter of fact, I don't even wear fucking sneakers except for to go to the gym, and I wear Asics or some shit like that. Reebok is garbage. I say that fucking worst move I can think of in a long time. It's fucking terrible.
No, I have to completely agree with you, and it has made me a little anti-UFC already. I mean, what else are they gonna do? I mean, they've already tried. And first of all, this is a perfect example of why Bellator will never be shit. Because the UFC continues to fuck up over and to make these moves that make no sense. And everyone's like, "Oh, Bellator's gonna, they're gonna pick up the slack. They're gonna catch up to the UFC, and they're gonna be in their, they're equal, and then they're gonna pass them." He could have another chance. Guess what Bellator's gonna do? They're gonna fuck it up. But no, I agree with Aaron. So many fights we would never have seen. So many wars we would not have seen continue because without these cutmen, especially a guy like Stitch, who is known as the best cutman in the game. I mean, these are the words that he told. I think it was Bloody Elbow in the article that basically got him fired. He said that he stood to lose a good chunk of money because of the UFC's contract with Reebok. He said, actually written down here. He said, "It's a solid shot. I got paid on a monthly basis, so it definitely added up. I made really good money on that sponsorship, so it's kind of a shocker to transition." That's not really, in my opinion, enough of a statement against Reebok. It's more against the situation, not really against Reebok, but it's not enough to me to warrant not hiring him anymore. Because then today, I think he told MMA Fighting that he was contacted by a UFC official that he didn't want to name, and he was told that he would no longer be hired because they are independent contractors, but just like Aaron said, but he's not going to be hired anymore to be a cut man. So now he's going to go over to boxing, which I'm sure he'll be taken care of. As I think Stitch gets hired by like the best boxers out there, the guys that make the most money. So he should be okay. He should be fine. But I mean, this is sending a message to every fan, to everybody that does work for the UFC. We're here to be a corporation, and this is probably not the last just ridiculous thing they do, in the near future, in the name of good old Reebok money.
Okay, so here's the deal, guys. I completely agree with everything you guys are fucking saying. Obviously, Stitch was the man. Not only was he the best cut man in the sport, and not only did he provide a lot of fighters with one more round, but he also was iconic. He was fucking cool. He was a great guy when he was on Stand and Bang. He is that guy. He's a legit cool-ass dude, and he was fucking fantastic at his job. Now, here comes the sad part. What does it really matter? Everybody's pissed right now. Everybody with a fucking Twitter account, pussy is on fire. But let me ask you something. Who will really fucking not watch the UFC now? Who's going to fucking tune out next week, next Saturday? Who's not going to watch the fights because they cut Stitch? And I'm not trying to be a cunt about this. I just like dealing with the facts. It's going to piss everybody off. We all universally feel the same way. I'm sure you'd be hard-pressed to find an MMA fan that was like, fuck it, no biggie. We all know what time it is. But I really got to thinking about this after it happened, and I thought, okay, what's Dana White's thought process with this? What does it really matter? Where do your loyalties really lie? Will you tune to only Bellator now? Will fucking any of us? Probably not. And that's not to say that we don't feel bad. That's just the reality that we live in. And here's the deal. Aaron alluded to it earlier. Do you know why we will still watch the UFC? Because T.J. Dillashaw and Renan Barrera will fight next Saturday. Because Ronda Rousey will fight next whatever the fuck. They still have 98% of the talent in the sport. Until that changes, they're going to be able to get away with shit like this. Everybody hates the Reebok outfit. And guess how much it really matters? Fucking none. Not really.
No, and I think what you're saying.
There isn't going to be any reform until the athletes leave en masse. That's what has to happen. Enough top-tier guys have to say, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm Todd Duffy. I just got my face knocked out of the other side of my face, and I made $12,000 for my trouble. $12,000. I mean, everybody bitches about Reebok pay. Or not Reebok pay. Well, they do bitch about that too, but UFC pay. It's kind of getting out of hand now at this point where it's just like, you know what? We're the UFC. You don't like what we do? Fuck you. We'll cut you. We'll cut you. We'll get rid of the cut men. We'll do that. It's like, are they just like purposely trying to deconstruct the company that they've been working on now for 20 years? I'm having a really hard time understanding why they would bow to one corporation like this. Like, did the CEO of Reebok catch the CEO of the UFC fucking somebody? I mean, really, this is like some weird-ass backdoor dealing. I just don't understand it. But Fred's right. I'm going to tune in next week, and so are you, and so is everybody. I'm going to watch Bellator and fucking everything else under the sun because that's just what I do. But I'm not going to boycott the UFC. What has to happen is that top-tier athletes have to say is enough is enough. We're going someplace else where we can have sponsors, where we can still be top-tier fighters. Is it Bellator? Not at this point. But, I mean, I guess my question is, how far can you go? How much can you push before that starts happening?
Exactly. That was my next question. Okay, we're fucking hardcore fight fans, but what would it take for you guys to actually say, you know what? I mean, obviously, none of us would probably ever boycott the UFC. Fair enough. But what would it take for you to actually give Bellator some legitimacy? Weidman, Jones? Like, who would it take to jump ship for you to go, oh, fuck, this is a fucking legit game changer. Now things could take a spin. Like, what type of a character does it need to be John Jones or somebody on that level?
No. It has to be more than one weight division, top 5 guy. If a top 5 guy in middleweight, a top 5 guy in featherweight left at the same time and said, my contract's up, fuck you, I'm going to Bellator, that could start the avalanche. Everybody'd be like, yo, why'd you go to Bellator? Oh, because they offered me the same fight pay, but I can have 75 sponsors, and I don't have to wear Reebok, and Stitch is over there now. It is not going to take too many before people are like, you know what? This pay structure is busted. Fuck this noise, man. All right, fine, Dana, you want to fuck with us enough? We'll fuck with you back. I mean, really, if all of a sudden 40% of your favorite fighters went to Bellator, God forbid, but let's just say 40%, 4 out of 10 of your favorite fighters left for Bellator, what would that do for you on Spike? Like when the Bellator shows showed up on Friday, I'll bet you we'd be rubbing our hands together and having keyboard warriors about fucking Bellator instead of all the bullshit going on in the UFC.
Yeah, you know, you're right. But going back to what Fred was saying, he's right. What does it really matter? When does it really change anything? You know, and it's just so it's weird. The magnitude to a fan is a lot. Remember when Burt Watson got fired and people were just like, "Oh, I can't fucking believe this shit. Fuck UFC. Go off the Bellator. We'll start watching Bellator more." It didn't happen at all. You know what I mean? Bellator said about the same. They're still making the freak show fucking fights all the time, whatever the fuck. But it's just gonna be the same thing with Stitch. You know, you're just not gonna see him at UFC events anymore, and it's not gonna change your experience. You're still gonna see the fight. There's still gonna be a cut man there. So, you know, I agree. It has to be the fighters.
No, it absolutely is gonna change the experience because I like Rob Monroe, I like Swayze,
Yeah.
I like Stitch because these people are the top of their game. Now, when a fight starts getting stopped early, because I know that there's a cut that one of those guys would have been able to stop, but some fucking snot-nosed prick that doesn't know what he's doing can't stem the blood, yeah, I'm going to be pretty pissed off.
But see, listen, here's the problem, man. I seen somebody tweeted something earlier. I don't remember what prick it was, but they said something smart. The UFC doesn't want 1 million fans like us. They want 10 million casual fans who don't know who the fuck Burt Watson or Stitch Duran are. Hey, listen, Jack, I agree, but I think that's the deal. I think that is the whole thing afoot right now. All of us get together in our little nerdy MMA circles and we get our pitchforks out and we're like, God damn it, Burt Watson and now Jacob Stitch Duran, you son of a bitches are going down. And DW is in a plane somewhere thinking, fuck you, Twitter. Like, you'll all tune in. You'll have to. They know what's going on, man. And until, like you said, Aaron, at the end of the day, until, 25 to 40% of the roster actually gets the balls to jump to Bellator or WSOF or whatever the fuck, that will never change. We tune in to watch the fighters. Obviously, losing guys like that suck for people like us, but there's probably 9 million other fans that don't give a fuck who wraps them cuts, and they're not even smart enough to understand that it will let the fight progress longer. They're just like, whatever, man, give me my beer and peanuts and let's bang it out. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and that's true. For those who are watching, Fred and I did come to an epiphany. We are incredible fight nerds. Not this weekend, but the next weekend. We're talking with Jonathan Snowden from Bleacher. And we're like, we're going to talk with Jonathan Snowden. Do you know that there's 0% of the human population besides me and him that are excited about that? Most people are going to be like, who the fuck's a Jonathan Snowden?
I was going to say, no one's going to give a shit. I like his shit. I like the stuff he writes, but still, it's funny. No one's going to care. But here's another question for you. Because the word corporation keeps getting brought up in these moves, right? They're acting like a corporation. They don't give a shit anymore. It's not just Dana White and Lorenzo doing it anymore. It seems like someone else is pulling the strings. Is this a setup for the UFC to get sold? There's been a rumor that there's an offer on the table for a long time. Who the fuck knows where this rumor's coming from? But is this a move towards that? Is this the UFC kind of turning more and more corporate and getting ready to sell?
That's what we suspected a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
That this is either going to be like they're going to make it a public offering. You know what I mean? It's going to go public, or all of a sudden it's going to be UFC presented by Dubai, or whoever the fuck could afford the UFC at this point. But yeah, because it really, you're right, man. It does seem like they've just let go of the wheel and just was like, whatever. You don't like Reebok? Fuck you. You've been around for 20 years? Fuck you. You know what I mean? Oh, all the sponsors that got us to where we were? Fuck off. We got Reebok, and it's just like,
You know what? It's kind of surprising. You look at people like Scarface and like Tony Soprano, and they're always made out to be these great characters. When you think about it, the UFC kind of runs shit like the mob. They're like, yo, we're all wearing Reebok today, yeah? Yo, Stitch, where's your Reebok shit at? Johnny, kill him. Get the memo. Get him the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck who he brought with him. He's got to go. They don't fuck around.
their last name are the Fertitas. That sounds awfully Italian to me.
All right, we should switch subjects before we all get fucking whacked.
Yeah, no shit. If there's no show next week, that means we're dead.
If it's me, it's because I'm sick as all shit. So I'll probably die from natural causes anyway. All right. So moving on to the next thing here. Let's actually talk about Mir versus Duffy. The card was decent, and overall it was okay. Let's just talk about the main event right now. Frank Mir against Todd Duffy. Were you Aaron? Were you surprised Frank Mir knocked out Todd Duffy?
Nope. No, people keep sleeping on Mir. If you go back into his career, Mir might be one of the best heavyweights ever. Two submissions that broke people's arms. He was the heavyweight champion. He was the interim heavyweight champion. He beat Brock Lesnar. He beat Big Nog twice. He beat Bigfoot Silva. I mean, come on. People keep sleeping on this guy. And yeah, he's been a little bit goofy recently. He dropped those 4 fights. But that's because Fred and I talk about this all the time. You get a guy who does like a spinning back fist one time and it works. And then that motherfucker just spins around like a tornado every fight trying to land it again. I think that's what fucking happened with Frank Mir, man. He's like, hey, I can box now. And then for some reason decided he had to box. Where he should be using his boxing to do what, fellas? Fucking drag his opponent to the ground and snap their fucking arms off. Because that's what Frank Mir is known for. But for some reason or other, the cute little prick really loves to box now. Well, it worked out for him this time. But I'll tell you what, that was just a maelstrom. Fucking Todd Duffy, Frank Mir's lucky that Todd Duffy gasses after 42 seconds. If you watch all of his fights, about the 43rd second in the fight, Todd Duffy's done. If he hasn't knocked you out, he's done. And then he started fucking winging out punches from left field and stuff like that. But it did show Mir's a little bit more durable than I thought because Todd Duffy did hit him. And he didn't start walking in potholes or fall over like he did with JDS. And he still got some good power because when he socked Duffy in the side of his head, it looked like that fucker was a puppet that got his strings cut. He just fell over like he was straight up dead. And then Twitter erupted with like, is Todd Duffy dead? And then, you know, we go on to what's next for Mir. And we were on Stand and Bang with Dwayne Finley from Bleacher Report. And in a dream world, Fred and I say, Fedor. What a fucking great fight is that, right? If he does come back to the UFC for the 75 cents that they'll pay him, put him up against Frank Mir. That'd be the shit. That answers a lot of questions. Mir snuffs out Fedor. Okay, Hall of Famer, one of the best ever. He killed the GOAT. Awesome. If Fedor snuffs out old Mir, well, Fedor, you know, Mir's a little bit on the old side, and Fedor's still awesome, and up the food chain he goes. But Fred, you were thinking that what do you think the fight's actually going to be made for Mir?
Big disgusting Ben. That's what I think.
Hold
on though. You know what I love about Frank Mir? Frank Mir always has a six-pack. That motherfucker was fat in this fight, but somehow he kept those 6 little ripples on his belly. I seen somebody say Frank Mir's fat for the fight, and then somebody responded, he's got a six-pack. Well, you both were right. He was out of shape, and the motherfucker had a six-pack.
Just like that one picture of Rashad Evans. Big old belly with a six-pack. How does that happen? I just got a fat gut. I don't get no six-pack, just blubber.
Yeah, there's no definition. Listen, I tell you what, I was surprised that Frank Mir knocked him out. Once it happened, hindsight is 20/20, and you think, yeah, well, Todd Duffy's not that great of a striker. But going into the fight, general consensus was a fucking brisk win knocks out Frank Mir, and he's fighting a young stud that hits like a fucking Mack truck. But, you know, the young stud technically sucks. And one thing about Frank Mir, his boxing technically is okay at this point. And he definitely knows one thing you could see with that punch. He knows how to fucking sit down on his punches when he wants to. Now, was it sloppy? Sure. And was he probably a cunt hair himself from getting knocked out? Absolutely. But he put a lot of fucking torque and stank on that shit. That's why it fucking slept Duffy as soon as it fucking hit him. It knocked him the fuck out cold. So, what did you really learn in that fight? Not much. Todd Duffy's probably never going to be a legit, threat at heavyweight. And Frank Mir's still an old dog who's fucking feisty. I wouldn't go getting hasty. Fucking, I don't want to put Frank Mir in there with nobody crazy. I think Ben Rothwell's the right fight, even though Ben Rothwell's fucking on his cute little tangent. Right? You know what? Quite frankly, I hope they do line that fight up because there's nobody I'd like to see get submitted more right now than old evil laughing Ben.
And then I want to see that post-fight interview. No, you know what? Part of the thing here's the thing. I think what we did learn about Duffy is he comes into a fight just like Aaron was saying. He gasses out in 42 seconds, but he came in like like a white kid on acid running into a fucking mosh pit at a fucking metal concert, dude. Going out like that. It's not racist. That's exactly what I seen at metal concerts, motherfucker. You will never see me in a fucking mosh pit, but I will watch and point and laugh a lot. But, he came in all sloppy, and it turned into rock and sock and robots, and Frank Mir just happened to win that game. So,
why am I thinking that the co-main event wasn't shitty either? What was the co-main?
Co-main event? Oh, shit, I have it written down. Co-main event, Holly Holm?
Oh, yeah. Was it Holly Holm?
No, let me pull it up. It wasn't Holly Holm. Let's talk about Holly Holm real quick, then.
Somebody online right now is going, I know it was.
Is the hype dead? Is it over on Holly Holm?
That was not a good showing. If Marion Renaud wouldn't have taken a picture or a fucking page out of Douglas Lima's book of fucking that fight would have been completely different, man. Her strategy was apparently to check out Holly Holm up close and personal to see what kind of technique she has. That was terrible. She mounted zero offense. I can't remember a fighter, unless they were actually like slept, knocked out, that offered up less offense than that. It was terrible. And then even when Holly Holm, now I'm switching gears, and even when Holly knew that Marion was not going to do a fucking thing, she still stayed at point fighting distance. And then she does that Serena Williams grunt on everything. Fucking gross. Stop that, Holly. You don't got to grunt every time you do everything. But she still, nothing was effective because she's not in the pocket. She fights from outside the pocket, and she doesn't cover distance very well. And then everybody keeps saying, well, we haven't seen the real Holly Holm yet. Well, bring that bitch along with the fake Holly Holm. What the fuck? Could we please see the real one? Because I'm tired of seeing the fake one after 2 fucking fights. With all the hype and the bullshit, like Fred says all the time, the proof is in the pudding. And this pudding sucks. Like tapioca pudding. I hate that shit. The next fight, if she doesn't do something, then it's just going to be another of the best of the rest. We got Ronda Rousey, and then there's the rest. That's it. And she's just one more of the rest. And coming up this weekend, we got 2 more of the rest. Miesha Tate versus Jessica Ai. Just like Dwayne Finley said this, fuckers, neither one of those girls have anything for Ronda Rousey.
At all. I agree. What do you think, Fred?
I'm not completely off the fucking hype train yet with Holly Holm, but I'll give you this, man. It didn't look great. I think it's weird, man. It does, if I'm not mistaken, it seemed like in the last minute or 2 of the fucking 3rd round, she kind of started getting a little ballsy and closing distance and catching her with some good shots. I think she does have the talent. I think she just is gun shy and gets a little nervous, man. I think that and you're right though. The next fight will be very telling. She'll get a lot tougher of an opponent, and I think if she comes out and fucking really loses herself in the fight and lets her fucking talent go, she could be very good. But I think if she keeps overthinking shit and she keeps fighting the way she has been, she'll get exposed. She's got the talent, but she needs to fucking let that shit out.
You know what she lacks? You know what she lacks that I love in a fighter?
Balls.
Killer instinct. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Killer instinct. She's technically great. Like, even at distance, she looked great. Technically, the punches right down the pipe. Her kicks are great. She's flexible as hell. She's got no killer instinct. Because with all those skills, like, look at Johanna Jędrzejczyk. She's a fucking killer. She wants to come at you like a velociraptor and fucking destroy you. She's technical and she's mean as shit. Holly doesn't have that fucking meanness. She needs to get that installed. The reason why Ronda's so dominant, she's mean as fuck. When you lock the cage, Ronda hates your guts. Holly Holm's kind of like a person where, like, I'm sorry, did I just kick you in the face? That shit's got to go.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree, and I'm off the Holly Holm thing. I was never on the hype train, but I think she's done. I think the next time we see her is going to be a prelim fight because she stood up the whole time. It was still she still managed to make the fight boring.
Settle down. That's an absurd comment. It certainly will not be a prelim. She won the fight. Let's not get crazy.
She'll be in the prelim. I'm telling you, I should be prelims. All right.
You
Anyway.
really think so?
I do. We'll talk about that next time. Actually, talk about the co-main, which was awesome.
Wait. We didn't do our who's next. Now, I say if they want to fuck it, here's the thing, and I understand they'll never do this because it's two good-looking girls that are up on the up and come. Paige Van Zandt versus Holly Holm. That shit's got to happen, right?
It might as well.
Well, is she 35?
No, she's not.
Van Zandt's 15. Yeah, she's 15.
Oh, that's right. Fucking Paige Van Zandt's a weight class down, isn't she?
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess for all the people who just made me look out like a moron, I guess I was kind of thinking about like porn channels right then.
Listen. You know who I want to see Holly Holm fight, and it might not line up time wise, but if Misha Tate beats Jessica Eye, bitch, you ain't fighting Ronda no more. Be the test for Holly Holm because she needs a big fight. If Misha Tate wins, throw her Holly Holm and let's see what Holly Holm can do. Because nobody wants to see Misha Tate versus Ronda again. So, like, let's do that. Because I think Misha Tate's going to beat fucking Jessica Eye. So
probably, and I think if she does, it's not going to be a very entertaining fight.
Neither one of you guys is taking Eye in this one.
I'm picking Eye in my picks and everything, but I'm not confident with it. How's that?
You're a disingenuous prick. You just got done saying you think Misha's gonna win, but you're picking Eye. You're like one of those guys that's like heads I win, tails you lose.
Okay, either way I win. I don't care.
You want Jessica Eye to win, but
there you go. I want Jessica Eye to win, but Misha's probably gonna snuff her. All right, but not in a finishing way. It's gonna be a boring decision. That is what I think. All right, but let's actually talk about the co-main event, which is actually a lot of fun. Tony Ferguson gets a decision win over Josh Thompson, and Thompson, it's believed it was his last fight. I think he was talking about it, during the or after his previous fight, that this is going to be his last one. He went out on a bang. It was a loss, but he was still a fucking entertaining ass fight. What'd you think about it, Aaron?
I think that Josh Thompson is fucking tough as hell. Mm-hmm. That dude took a couple of shots where you just saw. He's like, yeah, that hurt me real bad, but I'm not going down. Yeah. He took a liver shot where he was just like, oh, fuck it. I'm not going down to a knee. And there was a couple of times where Ferguson rocked him, and he was just like old school Robbie Lawler. Do you guys remember the Nick Diaz Robbie Lawler fight way back in the day, when Nick Diaz tagged Robbie one time, and Robbie's like, and just fucking refused to get knocked out? Fucking Thompson had some moments like that. Now, Fred and I have a debate going on about Ferguson. He doesn't like his herky-jerky, awkward style. I think if Ferguson develops that shit, he is going to be tough to deal with.
I agree with that. I completely agree with that. He has a fucking weird, unique style. Hell, to get out of, to disengage on, Thompson, he did that fucking not a cartwheel, but he did like a barrel roll type of deal, whatever you call it.
I'm not talking about that.
I know, but that's part of his style.
Right.
Oh man, fuck his style. Listen, I think maybe my problem with Tony Ferguson is two things. A, it was his loss to Michael Johnson. That kind of threw me off the bandwagon a little bit.
Wait, I gotta put a wait. Because we fight about this all the time. You always talk about how UFC, the fucking MMA, you're a creature of the moment or something like that. You're a hating son of a bitch. Because RDA, I can't stand him because of 7 losses ago. And fucking El Kukui, I can't stand that prick because of 7 losses ago. You hold on to that shit.
All right. It doesn't make it right, but you're right. I do. I can't forget certain losses. I can't get them out of my system. And I don't know, man. 55 is a Shark Tank, so I guess maybe the reality is you have to do something kind of standoutish. We had Showtime Pettis as the champ for a while, and you get used to that cute little cocksucker bouncing off the cage and knocking people out. Then RDA comes in, he looks disgusting, and he slowly, methodically fucking picks you apart, and it just isn't as fun, man. And Tony Ferguson's funky and weird, but I don't know. For some reason, I just don't see him as a top contender, which isn't really fair because I tell you what, I do think Josh Thompson is a bad motherfucker. He's extremely tough, and that was a great fucking win. I flat didn't think old El Kukui had it in him. Another thing that bothers me is fucking nickname, El Kukui. But listen, what?
It's the boogeyman.
Yeah, it still rubs me the wrong way. It's got a gross sound to it.
Yeah, you know what? You got a gross sound to you.
Yeah, whatever. Listen, it was a big win. I'll be very interested in his next fight. I wonder what do you cute cocksuckers think they do with him? Where do they go? Top 5? Like everybody's on his fucking dick right now. Are they gonna ride him to the moon or what?
Yeah, either top 5 or right outside of it.
Yo, I gotta fucking say this. Davey Boy tweeted in saying, "Who's that little boy in Kirby's house? Call the cops."
That's cute. That's cute. I'm gonna fucking tweet him a dick pic now.
Hey, you can do that, dude. That's not Facebook. It's Twitter. Go for it. Do your thing.
Hey, now first off, I want to say two things. A loss to Michael Johnson is no shame. Michael Johnson's pretty legit. And as far as RDA being disgusting, did you guys see Cowboy Cerrone and him going back and forth? And he was like, yeah, shut up, Frankenstein. Just sign the contract. Because he's got that fucking flat head. He does.
No, seriously. But hold on, he also fucking said he said that somebody had asked him when they'll be ready for the fight, and he said that after Frankenstein fucking cycles off and can pass the blood test. So he accuses him of taking steroids. Not for nothing. I've been beating that drum for a while, Cowboy. I knew something was fishy with this cocksucker. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's a world beater. Bullshit. I agree.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I think we need to see the tests first, but it could happen. I mean, all the Brazilians are getting accused right now. Aldo pulled out because he had to cycle off, right?
I don't know about that.
Oh, man, with all of this and every Brazilians on fucking steroids, come on, man. You were comparing pictures of him when he was a baby-faced 16-year-old, and then he's up on the scale all fucking dehydrated and shit. Of course he has more fucking cut. And he's a bigger guy. He's in his fucking 30s now. Of course he is. He didn't look like Kung Lee. That was some fucking right there.
That was goddamn.
Time will tell. I'll tell you what, man. I got a feeling that either athletes are going to get real smart real quick, or we're going to see a whole lot of 2-year suspensions come down the pipe. Now, another fucking cute bastard on the Gil Melendez card. Another one got fucking popped for exogenous testosterone. Now, Dodger. He's got for a year.
Montaño's out for a year, yeah. I think he tested positive for the same shit too, testosterone metabolites, right?
Yeah.
Dodger Montano. I think he's a welterweight.
Ah.
But he's the second guy on the Mexico card to test positive for the same shit.
Jesus.
I mean, hell, we're talking about positive tests. Ronnie Jason just tested positive for diuretics, and so then he went and said he's gonna sue the Brazilian MMA commission, and then his B sample tested positive for diuretics.
But that's old news. First off, it's Hani. And that's old news. Like, fuck, man, how many events ago was that? That was a shitload of time ago. He just decided to get around to saying nuh-uh now?
Mm-hmm.
He ain't suing nobody, Jack. I don't know who the fuck he thinks he is or who he thinks he's dealing with, but you don't just go around suing the athletic commission unless they fuck you over in a major way. He's only fucking showing his own ignorance with that bullshit.
Flying Brian tweeting in saying that he's actually kind of against you on this one, Curb. He's saying El Cucuy is a legit nickname, and also Tony Ferguson is the real deal, Jack. Top 5. Is Ferguson a top 5?
Well, this is fucking being recorded, Mr. Brian. So let's hope you're right with El Cucuy. We'll refer to the tape of a fight from now when he gets his ass busted by a top 5 opponent.
I'm actually kind of disappointed in our fans. Fucking nobody tweets me during this shit. Mike Jarvis every now and then fucks with me. How come you guys are all tweeting Eddie? Eddie's all fucking snorting his nose up. He's dying of fucking cancer. He's got the hip from Mexico. I'll answer you some cute fucking questions, Mike Jarvis, prick.
Hey, Mike Jarvis sent back like, how did I get called out? I've been sitting here just watching this shit.
I don't know. I like Mike Jarvis. Hey, I'll tell you what, who I am going to call out. I don't know if you're watching the show, but Enlightenment43 over on Twitter.
Oh, no.
All my balls. Suck my whole ball sack. At Watto Mac, at Watto_Mac, thank you for letting me know that British little sensitive cunt is fucking got a head full of bad wiring. We got accused of being anti-British on Stand and Bang.
Yeah, how fucking stupid is that?
That's the most fucking ridiculous thing ever, and this guy wouldn't let go of it. He was like a fucking whore with a dick. It was the most fucking ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. How are we anti-British? We said that Michael Bisping is a gatekeeper.
What? Okay, Eddie, what do you think about that? Let's go ahead and switch gears a little bit and talk about Mr. Bisping. There was another fucking fight over the weekend where, fuck it, let me start off. I'll start off. The reason we were talking about Michael Bisping is okay, I'll give my opinions on that fucking fight and Michael Bisping in general right quick. My idea on that fight was I do think Bisping won, so settle the fuck down, everybody. I do think he won, but it was fucking close. And I'll give you this. He got rocked twice badly. And I think in those small moments, the fight was closer to being finished than anything that Bisping ever did to Tallis throughout the whole fight. Now, make of that what you will, but if he fucking backs up after he hits him with that big uppercut, Bisping's almost ready to fall the fuck over. Now, in the fight before that, he fought CB Dollaway. He got rocked in that fucking fight by CB Dollaway. No fucking offense, but come on. So we said that, listen, the idea of him fighting Romero or fucking Luke Rockhold, which obviously didn't go well, or fucking Tim Kennedy, or anybody in the top fucking 5 to 10 was fucking ridiculous. So everybody on fucking all the Brits got their fucking panties in a tight little wad. I fucking stand by my shit. Bisping is a gatekeeper fucking at best at this point. He's respectable and he's a Hall of Famer. But
So that's my issue. What's the problem with that? Calling him a gatekeeper isn't the same thing as calling him a cocksucker.
Well, yeah, right.
I mean, there's a lot of guys who are the gatekeeper of their division. Gleison Tebow, gatekeeper. There's a lot of guys that hover around 11, 9. You can beat them, you go up if you can't beat them, but they never really get past that 8 or 9 spot. Bisping has fought 782 times in the UFC. He's had his chance. Luke Rockhold just knocked him into the 3rd row of seats. So he tumbled back down. Yeah, he got a win over Tallis Latis, but who gives a shit? And like Fred said, in a couple of those instances, man, if Tallis would have just backed off, I think maybe Bisping would have fallen down. I had it tied going into the 5th, and I think Bisping pulled it off in the 5th. But at this point, he's a point fighter. You know what I mean? And that's why Joe Silva and the guys, they're not going to keep giving him awesome fights, because when he does win, it's in just incredibly boring fashion.
Look, here's the thing with Michael Bisping. I'm a Bisping fan. I like Michael Bisping. I like the way, just like the way Kirby likes the how Conor promotes himself. I like the way Bisping and Chael Sonnen promoted themselves. They would just talk shit and give a fuck what anyone thinks. If you guys saw the post-fight presser for after he won his fight against Latis, he went off just saying whatever the fuck he thought, cussing everybody out. And I like that. I like honesty in people, especially the fighters, because those guys are not gonna lie to you. You can't lie in a fight. All right, you can't get in a fight and just pretend you know some shit, because you will get knocked the fuck out. But as far as Michael Bisping goes, big fan of his. He did win this fight in the 5th round, barely. He didn't look like like a Michael Bisping that you could even call close to prime anymore. That train fucking sailed a while ago. And for him to come out and say he thinks he's close to a title shot was, unfortunately and sadly, kind of ridiculous. But it's not. I don't think it's anti-British or an anti-Brit sentiment to say that he's a gatekeeper, because unfortunately he's kind of become the guy. Look, let's think about it this way. How many times have you seen Michael Bisping actually fight in the States? He fought in Scotland. He fought Kung Lee in Macau or whatever it was. I mean, that's the guy. He's like the Secretary of State. He's the guy you send to go to other countries to do shit.
Yo, hold on, wait, check it out. Tell me why Chris Weidman just played fucking Bisping on Twitter. Somebody asked Weidman, who's next after Rockhold? Any preference? And fucking dude fucking hitting back. Hopefully Bisping would be a real easy fight for a change.
Oh, shit. See, now Weidman's getting
shit.
Uh-oh, now everybody in the UK hates Chris Weidman.
Ultimately, though, I do agree. Unfortunately, I agree with you guys. He's become, one of the gatekeepers in the 185 division, and I think at this point in his career, he's not going to go any higher. And it's just it's not an anti-Brit sentiment whatsoever.
But see, this is the issue. Why is that bad? He's had an illustrious career with the UFC, fought more than almost anybody. He has a commentating job on Fox. He gets paid well. And if anybody can answer this in the Twitter sphere, because he has so many fights and he ends up in the co-main or main event all the time, does Reebok double pay him? Does he get the tenure pay and the fucking main event pay? Anybody know?
Probably. I would think so. I mean,
forget his contract. His contract is fat as fuck, by the way, just by itself.
Listen, I understand the guy wants gold around his waist. Okay, I want to be 6'2".
Right. I agree with you, Eddie, though. I do like Bisping. I like the way he promotes himself. I even said it on Stand and Bang. I do admire the fact that he still actually considers himself a legitimate chance. He does think that he'll actually win the belt. I do like the way he promotes himself. I do enjoy him in that realm, but in all reality, I think his days as a fucking top contender in the UFC middleweight division are fucking over.
Yeah, he's one of those guys you're gonna put into you're gonna try and match him up to make him look pretty good, right? Make
Give him Lyoto Machida.
Oh God, I think
Fight to make.
I would rather give him Vitor.
Yeah, well, either way. Yeah, I mean, I guess he wants that rematch, but like, come on, man. He got rocked by CB Dalloway. Like, it wasn't the steroids with Vitor. Vitor just hits hard and quick, and that's a horrible fucking matchup for Bisping. That old bad eye he's got. You don't see that shit coming the way he used to. He'll get fucking peppered up quick, man.
Don't make fun of the eye, Kirby. We'll never hear the fucking end of it, man. We already got Enlightenment 43 fucking whining and crying and trying to find out where we live. And he's got his ugly old fucking skank girlfriend with 3 followers on Twitter. Yeah, get him. Fuck you.
Oh my God, you guys took it that deep? Like it went that deep?
No. I told the guy, look, we're not anti-British, so just stop yourself. And then he started calling me a fucking idiot or something, and I was like, that's it.
Fuck that.
That is pretty funny. All right, let's move on here. Sorry, I can't breathe. What do you guys think about Stevie Ray's knockout of Leo Mafra? He was a pretty fucking exciting dude.
Okay, Peter Knox at NoxyCube on Twitter. All the Scottish fighters were awesome. Stephen Ray, best ever. Thank you for beating Mafra, who, by the way, is my favorite Godzilla enemy. Get it? Fuck it. Irish Joe Duffy looked great. Robert Whiteford looked great. JoJo? She was fighting an absolute nobody, and she almost got knocked on her fucking face. She really needs to tighten up that defense. Once she started letting go, she looked great. But I'll tell you what, out of all of them, Stevie Ray, that guy looks pretty legit.
I tell you what, and it's probably just the fucking Connor thing. I like Irish Joe, man. I like he was fun to watch, and you know what? Aaron makes up a really good point. He almost boxes like a fucking like a urban boxer from America. He keeps that fucking that lead hand down super low, and he's almost fucking shucking and jiving around. He almost fucking it almost comes across as like arrogant or cocky the way he fights. And he's got a very like Nick Diaz or Conor McGregor-esque look. Like, you're not gonna hurt me. Whatever you're doing, this ain't about shit. I'm about to just fuck you up type shit.
Hold on a moment. Flying Brian, thank you very much. Michael Bisping, $445,000.
God damn.
He made $445,000, fellas.
With the new deal?
Yeah, look at this shit. $275,000 to show, $150,000 win bonus, and $20,000 from Reebok. Oh.
Well, fuck.
That's an expensive gate.
Yeah.
Damn.
How much was the gate? The gate was like $1 million change, right?
Yeah. Somebody should tweet Michael Bisping and ask him what he thinks about fucking Stitch getting canned. I bet you he'd send you a picture of that fucking paycheck.
Or himself and her, with the paycheck with the nice little Reebok sticker next to it, right?
This is what I think of it. I'm a company man, Jack.
Oh, he's definitely one of those guys.
Wow. Well, and I guess, shit, man, if they were paying me $500,000 to step into the cage, I got to tell you, the quest for the gold wouldn't mean near as much.
Oh,
it's not real gold, Bisping. You realize you can't melt that fucker down, right? You're
like,
getting
fuck
paid
that belt.
$500,000. I say, fuck, man, let me ride out the rest of my career crushing cans. I can get that eyeball fixed, and then ride out the rest of my life as a millionaire. Holy shit.
All right, let's talk about real quick this weekend's card in Chicago. Renan Barão against TJ Dillashaw. Am I and I think Andrew Reed, are we the only ones that think Renan Barão is going to get his belt back this weekend?
No, I actually agree with you. I think I was the lone man out on Stand and Bang, right, Aaron? I think you and Dwayne were going with TJ in this fight. Or are you with Renan too?
I was non-committal.
Oh, what a fucking pussy. Well, I tell you what, I am fucking committed. I don't want to go as far as to say I think the first fight was a fluke, but I think that big fucking punch that he socked him in that first round, I just think fucking things went askew from there, man. I think this fight looks dramatically different, and quite frankly, I'm going to go out on a limb. Not only am I going to say that Renan wins, I'm going to say he smashes TJ Dillashaw and finishes him in under 3 rounds. TKO.
Yeah, when I was talking to people on Twitter, basically telling them like I think Hendon's gonna win, I don't think TJ's gonna land that bomb that he landed last time. That's what happened. He landed that bomb. He put fucking Hendon Brown on ice skates for the rest of the fight, and he's picked him apart. I don't think that happens this time. I think Hendon Brown's gonna be pissed off and just a monster coming out. I think he finishes TJ in like the 4th round.
Yo, and listen, I know MMA math don't mean much, but it took TJ 4 rounds that it took fucking Anthony Burchak to 1 round to finish the same guy in. So I know that don't mean everything, but I don't know. Color me not that fucking impressed with TJ Dillashaw.
I guess I'll put it to you this way. What we saw out of Renan Barão in his comeback fight after the defeat, if we see that Renan Barão, I don't think we got a chance of the title changing hands. If he fights like he was fighting before TJ knocked the shit out of him, then yeah, it's going to be a competitive fight. I don't really see Barão smashing TJ out, though. I do think the belt could change hands, but it really depends on what Barão shows up.
I agree with that exactly. I wasn't impressed with his last fight either.
Okay, so you know what? This isn't stand and bang. Enough with your non-committal shit. Jump off the Titanic. Pick a fucking winner.
Dillashaw.
All right.
So we got 1 Dillashaw, 2 Barãos. All right, let's talk about the co-main real quick. Miesha Tate against Jessica Ai. Again, the best of the rest, but it should be an entertaining fight. Overall, I got, just like we were talking about earlier, I hope Jessica Ai wins, and I'm picking Miesha Tate. What about you, Fred?
I agree, but I don't really give a fuck if Jessica Ai wins. I want to see Miesha Tate win, so hopefully they give her Holly Holm. I think that's a big fight. It's 2 names. I hate to just fucking shit on Jessica Ai, but I just don't. She's not gonna fucking be a legit challenger.
Chick, man. She's like down the street from you.
Man, I don't give a fuck where she lives at. She ain't got a fucking snowball's chance in hell at beating Ronda Rousey, and neither does Miesha. But at least if Miesha wins, she's a fucking good-looking broad. She's got a big name, and quite frankly, she's exciting to watch fight. She's fucking probably more exciting than her cute little boyfriend. As far as actually watching fight, she does usually bring fucking the action. So
did you say she's probably more interesting than Brian Caraway?
All right. Guaranteed more interesting than fucking.
Yeah, who's not coming on now, motherfucker?
But listen, I think we could do more with Miesha Tate win, man. I think she can win for sure, but I hope she wins too, because we could use her in a better fucking promoting capacity than goddamn it Jessica Ai. So.
Yeah. So and then Flying Brian coming through again with the numbers. Saying the attendance was 10,451. The gate was $1.5 million. So you lost $500,000 right there to Bisping, and then fucking venue costs and all the other shit. They didn't make that much money on that fucking on that card at all. So
not if they're paying Bisping like that. Jesus Christ, $455,000. That's a wow. Now Miesha Tate and Jessica Ai. That's a really weird fight because as I've actually grown to appreciate Miesha Tate as a fighter more and more because of how tough she is. Like, there's been several times where she's been up against a tough wrestler and, she's not going to be able to defend against the wrestling, and then she does. She's up against a striker. Oh, her striking isn't that good, and then she does. And what have we seen out of Jessica Ai so far? So far, the most impressive thing she does, or has done, is rip Leslie Smith's ear off. And that was a freak accident. That was a cauliflower ear delaminating. Okay?
For real.
We haven't really seen her knock anybody out or do anything tremendous. So I think what's going to happen is Jessica Ai's going to come out like fucking lightning and thunder in the first round, try to knock Miesha out. Miesha's going to weather the storm, and then wrestle fuck her for 2 rounds and eke out the victory.
Yep, I'd have to agree with that. All right, another fight on there that actually should be pretty exciting. Edson Barbosa against Paul Felder. Paul Felder, when he first came in, I wasn't impressed with, and then he went on a fucking that dude's fun as hell to watch. What do you think of that fight, Aaron?
What do I think about Edson Barbosa and Paul Felder? I absolutely love Edson Barbosa. Everybody's always with he's got a suspect chin. Okay, that could be true, but we've said that about a lot of fighters, and then all of a sudden they prove to be way more durable than we thought. If Paul Felder fights right, if he pressures the shit out of Edson Barbosa, he has a chance. But if he lets Edson get comfortable, I can see this being the first loss for Paul Felder.
For me personally, man, I feel like really know enough about Paul Felder to make an informed decision on this fight, man. Like, who did he hit the spinning back fist on Castillo, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Was that the first round?
Um,
I'm not remembering nothing about that fight except for that fucking knockout, man. I'm just trying to think about how they would match up stylistically. Obviously, we know a lot about Edson Barboza. Offensively, he's a fucking dynamo. He can definitely dish that shit out. There's obviously a big question about whether he can take it or not. I think Paul Felder's the question mark in this fight. If he can get past Edson Barboza, that's a huge fucking statement. So, as far as picking a winner goes, fuck it. I like Paul Felder. I think he's fucking interesting, and I kind of like with Miesha Tate. I think a Paul Felder win does more for us to promote with. I think if he can come out and finish Edson's already a guy that's kind of known for being wishy-washy. Very good when he's pouring on the punishment, but if you clip him, he can go down. If Paul Felder comes out and wins that fight, we got, yet another guy at 55 that's fucking interesting.
all right, and then the last fight on that main card is gonna be Joe Lozon against Takanori Gomi. It's a fight that we want to see. It's entertaining, I guess. It's a nice little starter for main card. But Joe Lozon's lost quite a few fights. And,
the Fireball kid don't do it for me no more.
No. Okay. Well, I'm kind of.
Okay, so but what about a fight like this, just in general? What do these kind of fights do for you guys? Do you like these fights? I mean, listen, on the surface, that's a fucking fun fight. They're probably going to come out and be the lightweight version of Todd Duffy, Frank Mir, right? And they're probably just going to sling leather at each other's faces. I'm sure Joe Lozon, for as much as he can out-grapple Takanori Gomi, he tends to get drug into fun fights. So I can see this being a fun fight, but who gives a fuck, right? Like, to what end?
It's not going to change anything in the division. It's not going to give anybody a title shot. It's not moving anybody up the fucking ladder. But you're hoping that it's an entertaining fucking fight because of the two guys that are in it. Joe Lozon has never shied away from a bloody fight in hopes of a bonus, and the Fireball kid's a thrower. So I think these are just those fights that you're just like, oh, fuck yeah, I'll watch that. Why not? You know what I mean?
So feel good? I mean, so good or bad? I mean, we like this, opening the card with fights like this?
Opening the card, sure, because it could set a good pace. If they come out, they stand toe to toe, and they stay in the pocket, and Lozon starts bleeding all over fuck like he always does. Yeah, it's an exciting way to start the card.
Yeah,
Jessica I is gonna make Miesha Tate's boob squirt. The fuck, Davey?
I knew that was Davey boy. That's fucking disgusting, Davey. Always with that gross shit.
I didn't even have to look at my phone. I knew whatever he said was fucking disgusting.
All right. On that note, fellas, I know you guys had Dwayne Finley on your last episode. Let people know about that and who you got coming up next.
Yeah. Over on iTunes and Stitcher, it's doing very well. If you cunts are listening and you haven't gone to SoundCloud and checked out Dwayne Finley, you're underappreciating this guy. Dwayne Finley works for Bleacher Report, travels all over the goddamn country and chronicles fight camps and fighter stories. He's an awesome guy. He was super gracious. The show was a lot of fun. He played ball. Now, this coming up Sunday, we got John Wayne Parr.
I'm definitely getting that one.
Right? Probably the best, except for Ramon Deckers, probably the best English-speaking Thai fighter in the history of ever. So that's gonna be very interesting. I'm gonna talk Muay Thai the whole time. If you fuckers don't like it, remember the show's called Stand and Bang, fuckers.
And for all those cute pricks, always with the grappling references, the Jake Shields and the lay and praise.
Yeah.
Here you go, Stand and Bang,
cocksuckers. Yeah, so fuck you, cocksuckers. It's gonna be all Stand and Bang this weekend. That's all we're gonna talk about. And then the following week, we are having another Bleacher Report guy on. We're having Jonathan Snowden. We're low key trying to sneak our way on the Bleacher Report.
There you go. One of these days, these guys you see the Stand and Bang show up on the sides when you're looking up anything on Bleacher Report. All right, fellas.
We'll take Bloody Elbow too. Just say
it. All right, fellas. Well, thanks for watching tonight. You can follow me at Elot31. Follow Kirby over at Kirby_MMA. Aaron is over at Stand and Bang Radio. Their website is standandbangmma.com. That's right, I got that right. Check their sound, right? Yeah. Check their SoundCloud, check the iTunes, and subscribe to that shit. It's always good stuff. And check the shows out. I'll be back tomorrow with In the Pocket. No Nick. It'll be by myself. So it'll be the ramblings of a guy with valley fever. So we'll check you guys later.
You're just gonna do In the Pocket by yourself?
Look, unless someone else would jump on with me.
Yo. Wait. Nick's at camp, right?
He's at camp. He's a camp counselor.
Nick,
Yeah, I'll bet he is.
Yeah, Nick, you're gay. Good night.
Hey, he's gonna come back like, how dare you say that? I'm gonna get you, yeah.
Oh, come on, guys. I only touched one or two of the little boys.
Oh no. We don't know. We're not there. We have no idea what's going on. Disclaimer.
We know what happens at camp, Nick, you dirty bastard.
All right. Well, with that message to Nick, thank you guys for watching. We'll check you guys out next week, and have a good night.